Evening and welcome to the March 14th, 2023 regular meeting of the Mason City Schools Board of Education. The board has been in a work session since 5:30 and we are now reconvening to our regular session. So the next item on our agenda is number 4. If you would please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next item on our agenda is number 5, superintendent's presentations. Jonathan?
All right, thank you, board. Tonight we have 2 presentations tonight I'm really excited to share with you. The first is our monthly Mason Momentum Wayfinding video, which will highlight some of the amazing work that's happening at our Mason Middle School. And then after that is finished up, we'll have a second to, if you have any questions about that process, our Mason Middle School principal is here that we can ask any questions. And then we have a second presentation that highlights student voices in a special way that I'll wait till we get to that to introduce that. So go ahead, Tracy, if you want to kick off our...
Yes, this Mason Moment Wayfinding moment highlights really a new incredible initiative happening at our Mason Middle School where they are having every 7th grader in their crew identify and thank their personal difference maker.
It made my day, and today makes my day. I don't think there's a better, it feels so great for students to recognize you on a stage like this, so I'm just very grateful. You're going to make a difference, that's why we're all here. And it's just a bonus when a student actually recognizes that. Thank you for what you've done. I wish it happened more.
I actually saw a previous colleague do a similar event at their school, and so I just inquired and just asked like kind of what their process was, and just really kind of started to think about what if we could offer that here at Mason Middle School. And so Colleen Johansson has a fantastic crew environment where she's already connected with so many families. And so we piloted it with her crew in December, and we invited all of their difference makers to come in on a more intimate kind of setting and have a difference maker moment. And that was kind of on the timeline of our Mason Schools Foundation grants. And so we wrote a grant to try to make this an experience for our entire 7th grade. So initially the idea was donuts with a difference maker. We're hoping next year to kind of partner with some local businesses and provide an opportunity for some food and further gathering. But instead, we created a sticker, and we used the Mason Schools Foundation grant to create something that both our difference makers and our students can forever kind of remember this event. And so super grateful to Colleen's collaboration and Mason Schools Foundation to make this happen for every 7th grader this March. So we did use our crew experience to roll this out on February 21st. And so we had a series of 2 to 3 days where we just focused in on kind of thinking and talking about what a difference maker is. We had a video of Joe Burrow and Adele and how they have honored their difference makers just as a jumping off point. And then we asked students to reflect on what to them means a difference maker, and then they started to select who their difference maker was. And we also guided them along the process of writing their letters and kind of provided some reflection questions, some sentence starters to really kind of get down to that emotional kind of connection in a way that was accessible for all students. And so what I saw, or what I have seen so far, I've seen some tears. I've seen some parents like, oh, my student's really nervous about this. You know, it is that amazing age of the middle school. But again, we focus on what's the entry point for each student and how can they feel connected and honored throughout this process.
teachers are big difference makers because, you know, they're there for like a big part of your life because they teach you many things. But then we also have Mr. Moberly, and he also is very flexible with things. Like there's a USA game the same night I had Camp Joy as well, so instead of having to choose, he let me go with another group so that I could go to both.
He is like one of my favorite coaches I've had like so far, and he like always helped me during the season, and like he would stay after practice and help me. So I just wanted to thank him for that.
When I was in middle school, my middle school wrestling coach was like a superhero to me. So being able to give back and do that for somebody else is awesome. And I don't know, it means a lot to me.
Sharing your story and how people impact your story, and even seeing the diversity and the family connection of a lot of our students in a more personal way really embodies all three of our big rocks.
Thank you, Tracy, for sharing that with us again. Each month we try to highlight something that maybe our community doesn't know about what's going on. Take a look inside our buildings and share a wayfinding moment. So another special moment. And I would like to introduce, we do have our Mason Middle School principal, Jay Reuter here. Jay, is there anything, I guess, any context to that you would like to fill in for us while you're here?
I think we all know, like, it takes a village to raise our kids, and when you get to the middle school, you know, as an elementary school parent, you get invited in to everything, and that doesn't happen as you get kind of in the 7 to 12 world, and so we really wanted to be intentional about getting our families in and getting them connected in our building. I spent individual time with every single staff member in the building. I had 3 questions when I was with them. And one of the questions was, what are you most proud of in your career? Without question, every time, it was when they heard from a kid, you made a difference in my life. And today, we finished that. Today's moments was unbelievable. We finished, I went to a meeting, and I had an email from a kid that I had in 2010. That it was like one tiny moment that I had with her that she remembered and like really impacted her, and it just made my day. A couple of our teachers today had some of their difference makers in, and as an admin team, we all said, well, on Thursday we need to have ours. So on my drive here, I'm talking to my dad, inviting him in to be a part of it, and you know, just how honored he was, and just, I think for our students to have the time to really think about who has made an impact on them and how they can do that for someone else is just really important with middle school kids.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that. And then who was remind us the principal that was in the highlighted, that was talking through the,
Brittany
in case people
Burlage.
don't know, Brittany Burlage.
Yeah, this is really her work. And she's so organized in getting, we have about 150 kids every Tuesday and Thursday, getting families in and making sure we have enough parking and all of those things. This is really her work.
That's great. Our team has the privilege of going around doing listening sessions with our leaders, and so when we come to the middle school, what's a joy to see is the way that Jay leads, but also just giving his team lots of credit and letting Brittany and the rest of your team just shine and doing the things that they love to do and doing those well. So thank you for doing that. And the partnership with the School Foundation is a great way to highlight how that partnership takes us above and beyond. So thank you. Any questions, board, or comments before we move on?
No, for me personally, just the comment of seeing you can obviously tell, you know, the gratification in the difference makers' faces and voices when they're sharing what it means to them to be invited to a space like that and connect with our students, and also just being able to kind of see the different ways and stories that people are making a difference is really, really neat for us. So I know we appreciate you opening that up to us and sharing that with us and the larger community.
Thank you, sir. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Our second presentation tonight is also in video form, but we actually have some people here as well. And you may have been here during the Taste of Mason. I believe it was March 1st when we had this debut of this great film that we shared with people. And I'll ask Tracy if there's other context that should be shared around this film and to introduce some of our guests now or maybe after the film.
We're gonna play the video first, but just that's a great intro. This was a coordinated effort with our DEI Council, the Mason MPAC group. MPAC is a parent advisory committee to our special education department that works collaboratively with them, as well as our high school's student leadership team, the IE student leadership team. It features a whole lot of comments really talking about one of our inclusive excellence principles, which is inclusion. And March is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. And so it was such an honor to debut it at our Taste of Mason on March 1st. And we thought it was a little bit noisy there. It was a wonderful video, but it was a little bit loud. And so we thought, actually, here at the board meeting, everyone can hear it and everyone can see it who's watching and tuning in to our ICRC-TV. So we'll watch the video and then we'll have some of the students whose voices are featured in this video or who helped make the video come up and say a few words.
As the superintendent and CEO here at Mason City Schools, it's important to me that we embrace inclusion so that every student feels valued, they feel like their voice is heard, and they feel like their story matters. That's what strengthens our community.
Your story matters and everyone feels valued.
Including me makes me feel. I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot.
Together we can do great things.
Leadership burns all offense. In our classroom, including me, everyone can learn. It helps us when teachers include us by calling on us to participate. We love to be included in a group project with our friends. It helps us to know we have teachers and they're able to help us. We love feeling and knowing that we are part of the team.
Of the nation.
I am one. It's so important when my teachers include me grade 4.
Our voices matter.
He said,
Our voices matter.
Give him a break.
I wish people would stop using the R word because it is rooted in hate against the disabled community and directly discriminates against people who have different abilities than other neurotypical people.
So I'm going to invite Mary to come up to the podium. Mary is a Mason High School class of 2025 Comet. You saw her in the video, and I wanted to just ask you a few questions, Mary. What's your favorite thing about being included?
I love being in plays.
You love being in the plays. So I know that you've been in several. What are you rehearsing for right now?
One upon a match with us.
Okay, well, if I or any of these people in the audience wanted to see Once Upon a Mattress, when can we see you? Coming up at the end of the month, maybe?
April 27, 28, 29, and 30.
All right. Well, I know we're going to be getting a lot of tickets to see Mary and all of her classmates. I know you've been doing a lot of theater since I think I remember seeing you sing some Annie songs back at Western Row in Mason Heights, and you've just improved and improved. We really appreciate you sharing your voice and how you're included at Mason High School and what theater means to you. Thank you, Mary.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mary.
Next, I'd love to invite Sarah, class of 2026, who was one of the students who really spearheaded putting this video together. And I know inclusion has a special meaning for her personally. And so we're grateful for her and would love to have you share a little bit about this process and really why the video was so important for you.
Yeah, so I'm on the Inclusive Excellence team at Mason High School, and inclusion means a lot to me because my brother has a developmental disability. He's a student at Mason Middle School, and sometimes just looking around and looking at the activities he's in, inclusion just means so much to see that so many people love him and care for him, and so many people put so much effort into him. So that's like really the reason I wanted to be important in this project, because I wanted everyone to see what it meant to me and everyone else, and get our student advocates involved in it as well, so they can use their voice and share what it means to them. So,
Sarah, I know we have someone in the audience who is also very helpful. Would you just also help us recognize Miss Jana?
Oh, yes. I just want to thank her, Miss Race, for all of her consistent advocacy and her enthusiastic mentorship to the Inclusive Excellence team and DEI and everything. She's really helpful. So,
thank you so much. We'll let the board and Dr. Cooper might have a few questions for Sarah or Mary as well.
I can take the lead. Sarah, have you visited our meetings before with your younger brother? I'm trying to recall.
Yes, when we went to the Little League World Series.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Is he doing that again this spring?
Yeah, he's doing it again this spring. I'm
Awesome.
the buddy coordinator, so if anyone wants to be a buddy this season, that would be really awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you for helping put this video together. I think sometimes we take for granted, but I know I am personally, not always one that has the courage to be on video and sharing my story. So I commend those who have the courage to step out and share their story with, the district at large. And you did an excellent job kind of elevating and bringing that to life for us. So to you and to those that helped you and Jana and everybody, we appreciate it and thank you very much.
Yes, of course. Thank you for your time.
Sarah, if you don't mind, I just have one question. I know your why. What was your how? How did you start just this whole movement?
So when I joined the Inclusive Excellence team, there wasn't a lot of there was a lot about different ethnicities and including everyone, in that sort of area and the LGBTQ plus community, but I didn't really see anyone advocating for anyone with disabilities. And I really just think that's because no one knew about it. So when I joined, that was kind of my reason. That's what I wanted to do. I was pretty much the only person there who knew anything about it. So, yeah, that's kind of my how. And I worked closely with Dr. Jordan, and she really helped me get started with everything I did to be involved in this video. So,
I love what you've done. Great job.
Thank you so much.
So I'll follow up the how with the what. And the what is, what should we do? How do we become better disability advocates? What are the first steps any of us could take to see that and then, be better advocates?
I don't know. I could get back to you on that.
Okay.
Better ways. I can't think of it off the top of my head,
Okay.
but I know some of our classes are pretty isolated, like our SCSF classes are pretty isolated just to each other. They can't really involve with other classes. I know sometimes you can do gym with other students. You can do like the special classes, but I feel like sometimes it's pretty isolated for, I don't know, just my perspective, I think. And I understand it's a different environment you have to learn in, but I feel like it could be cool to have everyone intertwined together to make that experience. But yeah, that's all I can think of right now. But
You can sign up to be a buddy, too.
oh yeah, and you can sign up to be a Mason Challenger
There
buddy.
you go.
Okay.
Yes,
You're the coordinator?
I'm the high school coordinator.
Is there an
yeah.
easy way to, if someone's watching, they want to be a buddy? Because the buddy system is really important. My son plays in the league as well.
Yeah.
And it's not a huge commitment, but you build great
Yeah.
relationships in a short
Yeah.
period of time. How do they contact, what do they do? Where do they go?
I know it's gonna be on the Mason High School newsletter next week.
Okay.
I think there'll be a link in there under like the community service. So yeah, that's all I have right now. And it's gonna be posted on a lot of social media, the Mason Challenger League, Facebook and Instagram. It will be on there. So yeah, if you know anyone who wants to be a buddy, that would be really fun. Or yourself. Yeah.
Awesome.
Sarah, thank you, and for your. When you do these kind of things, you leave a legacy behind. Someone younger than you will pick this up, and it'll grow bigger than you ever thought it would. And so, I always want to point out that what you're doing is important for you right now to make your message heard amongst your classmates and amongst the culture of the high school and the rest of the school district. But you're planting seeds that'll last for a long time, and we really appreciate that. And
Right.
Thanks so much.
Thank you again.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Sarah, thanks.
That's right. We have some gifts for our students.
Sarah and Mary, please come down, and then I'd like to get a picture of you all with the board.
Thanks for being here.
Mary, come right over. Yeah, come right over there. That's perfect. All right. Oh, that's great. Love it. Okay. Big smiles. Thank you so much.
Before we lose our guest, if you've not been to one of our Mason plays, definitely look that up online. It's a joy to come in. There's always a little extra seating. You got to get your tickets soon but this is in the larger venue, I believe, coming up. Is that correct?
Once Upon a Mattress is our spring musical. It'll be amazing.
And you won't want to miss it. And I've been fortunate to see Mary in several plays over time and musicals, and just does a fabulous job. Always brings a level of energy and just electric to the stage. So thank you, Mary, for sharing your talent with us, and everybody else is a part of that. And Sarah, right? Sarah, thank you for sharing your talent and passion with us and giving a voice to all of our students as well. So thank you so much, both of you.
April 27th through 30th, is that when the musical is? Awesome. All right. Jonathan, does that conclude our
Yes,
superintendent's
I'm sorry.
presentation?
Those are the two that we have tonight, and we can transition to the next part of our agenda now.
All right. Well, the next part of our agenda is our hearing of the public. This is a time in our meeting when we usually take a pause if you were here for just the superintendent's presentation portion. So to those of you who would like to get along with your evening, we welcome you to exit stage left. And for the rest of you, you are more than welcome to stay. So thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. The next item on our agenda is our hearing of the public. Our hearing of the public is a time when we, as a board, allow our public to address us. It's not a time, though, where we exchange or engage in a back and forth dialogue, and it's not a time when we, as a board, act or make any decisions as a board. It's simply a time, it's one of many channels for members of the public to address us. Each person who takes the podium has a total of 3 minutes to speak before we ask that you yield the mic to those who have also signed up. And those who speak during our hearing of the public are members of our community, so either residents of our district or employees of our district. And we also ask that you fill out a sheet before speaking. Tonight we've got kind of an ad hoc sheet here since our normal blue sheets are MIA, but I believe we have 3 speakers tonight, and I hear they're taking the podium together at once. Okay, so I think we have Gabby Soto and Joy Youngquist, and then is it Kobe Kessa? Okay. If you could introduce yourselves and speak into the microphone so that we can all hear what you have to say.
Alrighty, well,
So much. Oh, I'll take.
And when you speak into that, it'll pick it up here. It won't sound like it's picking up here, but it goes through for our folks that are watching.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, first of all, we want to thank you guys for, just taking the time to really hear us out. And so I'm Kobe.
I'm Joy. And I'm Gabby. And today we're going to be talking about Cosmic Cafe. And currently we plan to have a pop-up concession stand in the large commons in the concessions booth, but we don't have enough money to start it, and it would be a really great project for our MHS students to have in their building.
Alrighty, so our job here today is just trying to convince you guys to gain some funding. And so to get us started, we're going to talk about a load of projects we've been doing, the coffee bags. So we've been partnering up with Script Coffee, which is a local brewer down in Lebanon. And our goal with these bags is to be able to sell it through school events, through committee events, community events, and then just to, get the bags out, as a way to raise funds for the Cosmic Cafe. And then also to just gain some community involvement within the cafe.
Right, and one of the ways that we're hoping to raise money is through our swag fundraiser. So we have these cups that we got from Imprint. Each cup costs about $4 to produce, and we plan to sell them for $10 individually, and it will have our logo on it. We are planning to sell our coffee plus either a shirt or a tumbler for around $25. $1,000 is needed for this fundraiser, and we would profit about $1,050.
Alrighty. Now, as we're going through the packet. So if you guys want to just flip along, we're on the page with, it's like 2 sheets. The first one is like a Google sheet, and then the second one is like a doc sheet. Now the first sheet, that's just like an itemized list of what we bought with the budget that we were given. The second sheet kind of just lays out everything else we need. Now the money is rounded up, so of course it's not exact. But right now, I think the total on there would be $3,000. That's what we would like to have. But what we really need to open this spring would be $1,600. And then this would be like something we're really looking forward to, just to get the coffee shop opening and get the community excited for when the Learning Commons is finally renovated.
All right, and so we've been in contact with Carmel High School. Yeah, we've been in contact with Carmel High School. And they made $90,000 last year from their coffee shop, and so we're hoping to kind of mimic that. And so if you flip to the second to last page, you're going to see our menu, which is a condensed version of what we'd like to have in our full
large common or learning commons opening. And so we have coffee, iced coffee, tea, things like that, and we have them, we're gonna be using our Script coffee blend, which you can buy. If you turn the page, there's a QR code, and if you guys would like to just buy a bag, that would be awesome. And we'd like to just have this list and maybe a few other things if we have space for it. It is a very tiny area, the concessions booth, but we're hoping to make it work. And we're hoping to include everyone, and even though it's a coffee shop, we'd like to have tea and stuff like that for everyone who doesn't regularly drink coffee, and just kind of unite the student base. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Oh wait, one last thing. To end it off, I know like there are community members watching, so I think you guys should really be on the lookout. We're gonna be sending out forms for community, for the other people in the community, you know, just to show like the events we're gonna be at. I know there's a play coming on soon. We're looking to, you know, open a concession there, so just be on the lookout for where we're gonna be next, and maybe you can buy some coffee bags.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Tracy, do we have any other speakers tonight?
Nothing tonight.
All right. That will conclude our hearing of the public this evening. And this is also a time where we typically take a pause in our meeting to allow you to move on with your evening. If you only wanted to attend for the hearing of the public portion, you are more than welcome to stay for the remainder of our meeting, of course, but we also recognize that tomorrow's a school day, and you might have some homework, so, or a bracket to fill out, so we appreciate you guys coming tonight. All right. The next item on our agenda is item number 7, resolutions. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
So this resolution here tonight is just part of our compliance with the high budgetary laws. We start this process with the tax budget back in January, and we go through a process where we have a hearing before the county budget commission, and then they send this document back to us where we just need to approve our rates, our gross millage rates for next year, for calendar year 24, and then we submit these back to the county auditor.
Thank you, Sean. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mrs. Batchy?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Orr.
Item number 8 is superintendent's recommendations, personnel items. Do I have a motion to consider all of these personnel items collectively?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Okay, go ahead and jump in and walk through a couple things.
Mhm.
Okay. In this document, you'll see lots of things. Again, this highlights all the activity that's happened in the last 2 weeks. So there's a lot of things that have come in even in the last 2 weeks. A couple things I just want to point out. One, on here you'll see Nicole Fearman and she is moving on to new and exciting opportunities for her. And I just want to publicly say thank you for the work that she's done in our district over several years and helping us. When I came in as a superintendent, one of the things that we wanted to move forward on is continuing our work with building a wellness, prevention and wellness team. And so Nicole was the right person to help us to begin to build that, and she has, and it's built capacity. We've been with people in their most challenging moments of life and walked through some of that with people, and through that time, we built capacity with our team, and we've been able to serve not just our district, but to serve as a model for districts around the country. She has an opportunity that's it would be really hard for her to pass up on. And so as much as we've asked her to consider staying longer, this is also a great thing for her. And so we celebrate that with her and congratulate her on her journey into her next chapter. But she is going to finish out the year with us, which we're grateful for. You'll see on here also, we do have substitute teachers continuing to come in, so we always want to thank people, and I know Tanya's team does a great job of bringing people on and thanking them. And then we do have Travis Murray. He's been with us for quite a while as a teacher. He has new opportunities that are really wonderful as well. He teaches Spanish with our kids. I had one of my own kiddos have him as a Spanish teacher. So just congratulations to staff members that are here serving well, and then other opportunities open up that are in alignment with some of their dream job opportunities, and it's great to see them be able to take advantage of those. If you continue to scroll down, you'll see all kinds of opportunities that continue to fill up. Bus driver, we're still continuing to look for more and more bus drivers, but we are in a much better place than we were at the beginning of the school year, thanks to a lot of the work from Todd and Mark Merzanowski and the team there. Cafeteria aides, if you're ever interested in being a part of our community, that's a great way to start and kind of see what's going on behind the scenes in our schools. We invite you to join us in that endeavor. There's many more things that are highlighted in here, but those are just a few that I want to make sure I was calling out. If anyone's moving on to their next opportunities, we always wish you the very best, and know that we appreciate your service here at Mason City Schools. That's all I have for today for personnel.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thanks.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Sean, please call the roll.
Mrs. Batchy?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes. Item number 9, superintendent's recommendations. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'll highlight just a quick summary of each of these. Baseball, softball, job description. If you've been up and down Mason Montgomery, you've noticed that there's been lots of construction going on there. We do now have turf infields in both our high school baseball field and softball field. So if you haven't had a chance to see that, please go over and check that out. You can walk on it. It's beautiful. But it also, with that, as part of that process, we have been able to work out agreements with organizations that have travel baseball and summer baseball, these club leagues. And so one of those groups, a couple of those groups are already contracted in to use that field during the summer, during this off season when we're not using it. So part of this is, just like we do with our other facilities, is we have a site person on site to help answer questions, support folks that are there. So this is a description for someone that would be signing up to do that site management job, just like we do in the other turf fields and facilities that we have around the district. Database architect, analyst job description. We used to have a couple people when I first came in that was their main job, a database administrator, and did some work on programming and helping us to pull the data that we needed to make decisions. When they retired, we tried a lot of different solutions for that, and we've tried to outsource that the best we can. It's tough to have someone outside of us to pull data that we need, like in real time. Christine, thank goodness, has been doing a lot of that for us, but she also has a main job as well. So we've been taxing her with that, and she did probably the best job in the state of Ohio, if not the country, when we went through COVID and pulling data and putting those things in front of us. However, we would like to have a person that does that. So we're going to move away from outsourcing that and bringing that back in-house and hoping to find the right person to do some of that work for us. I think when board member Orr came on, one of those questions was, what is the need that you have? And I think almost to the group, it was just easy ways to access our data. And so we've been working through that because we don't want to just add to our administrator FTE or personnel. We want to thoughtfully do that. So we've gone through and we now have an opening opportunity. So that's what we're doing to do that. Chromebook repair. We have also worked on, we have how many Chromebooks do we have in, what would be your 11,000 Chromebooks throughout the district. Believe it or not, they get broken, they get dropped, they get spilled on, all kinds of interesting stories, as you can imagine. But we do have a person that helps repair those. This person wanted a little bit more flexibility, so we're going to contract with them and allow them to continue to work for us, but they're going to have some more flexible hours to continue. So that's a good thing for us and the employee. And then the last thing is energy bidding authorization. We are at that time to continue to go out and bid for energy updates, and this is the first step in that process.
Yep. Mr. Petrie spearheaded this process to interview 3 different companies to find the best fit for us, and this one energy we felt like was the best one in this field. And so we're going to go through a process of bidding out our electric and gas. We've had the good fortune in the last couple of years of being locked into rates, so we've been protected somewhat from the inflationary environment in terms of our energy costs. But that can't last forever, and so we're trying to go through this process to find the best possible rate we can moving forward.
Mr. Petrie might have spearheaded it, but he had to call in the treasurer to make sure it was right.
Wise move.
It's a big deal.
That's all for tonight.
All right.
Thanks.
Any other discussion? Sean, please call roll.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Ms. Abachi?
Yes.
4-0.
Item number 10, Treasurer's Report. Do I have a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion?
Up for approval, we have our January monthly financial reports, and included in that is our donations. We have, this month, we have a few donations and a couple to highlight, some teacher grants and recess equipment being purchased by our Mason 3 through 6 PTO. So groups like that and Mason Schools Foundation and lots of others that help contribute to programs around the district, we are always grateful for their support.
Thank you, Sean. Any other discussion? Sean, please call roll.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Ms. Abachi?
Yes.
Mr. Wise?
Yes.
4-0.
Item number 11, legislative update.
Yeah, so we have tried to give updates at each of our board meetings, and I'll continue to do that as we're watching a lot of the activity in Columbus and how it's moving quickly. The way that works is when there, I think last week I shared with you, there are 7 of the top 12 bills that are specific to education. I reach out to our local legislators, and so does Sean. Will oftentimes sit down and whiteboard out solutions for how this is going to impact us when these bills go forward. I'm also a part of statewide multiple legislative groups that help keep us informed on this, and then we share where we are as a community locally and how that's going to impact us. And so over time, we brought up House Bill 1 as a major concern at the beginning when that first was brought to us. Over time in that conversation, we've been able to slow that process down, which has been very helpful. There is now a very clear understanding of the impact locally that would have on us and how that could be a devastating hit to our financial funding process. House Bill 1, if you weren't here at our last board meeting, we said if House Bill 920, if you're familiar with that, did not kick into effect, that would cost the district about $10 million of revenue a year. And if it does kick into effect, it's $1.8 million a year. Those are significant dollars for annual losses just because they want to change the tax structure. I don't want to get into what they're going to try to do as a state, but for us locally, that would be a big impact. So we shared that with our local legislators. They heard us. They brought that back. That is a big discussion. And there was another hearing today in Columbus. You can go on and watch that on the Ohio channel if you so choose to do that. There's also in that hearing a very thorough explanation of what House Bill 920 is, a history of that, and how that impacts tax reductions and different things to that effect. But the end of that, in summary, is that House Bill 1 is slowed significantly down. Our voice is now being heard, and that impact we will continue to share our concern with that and allow them to work out their solutions in Columbus on how they may do that. We actually received information this last week that it will not go through in its current form unless there's significant change, understanding that the impact that it would have on local communities, either on the school district or on the property owner themselves. They're estimating, LSC is estimating somewhere in the ballpark of, across the state, $929 million of more property taxes on residential and agriculture property owners if this would go through in its current form. So that's why they know that's going to change in its form. It's also very clear in here that this would impact not only local schools, but it also impact like neighbors like Deerfield Township and other places like that in their millage. I will say that we're very fortunate because we have the access to Representative Matthews and Senator Wilson have been very gracious with their time and sitting down with us, listening to us, problem solving, and saying, we hear you, and we will go back and share that with people in Columbus. So that that's a great benefit locally that we have in those relationships, and we're very grateful to be able to have that. They're hearing us and listening to our concerns locally. There's also other things that we're watching closely. Senate Bill 1 and House Bill 12 are connected, so if you watch those two together, those are companion bills that are going through. Those are the restructuring of the Ohio Department of Education and basically building into two people that would be in charge, one over workforce development in education and one over education specifically. So continue to watch those because those will be on the governor's committee or an executive team rather than at ODE. So the whole structure will be changing. So we're watching that to see how does that impact us here locally. We'll stay informed and keep you informed. House Bill 33 is the budget bill that we'll continue to watch. There are a couple things. Budget bills, what's interesting about them is people just start tagging everything to them. So it's a budget bill, but they'll throw everything in to the budget bill. So that's why it's a good one for us to keep a close eye on, because that's going to come due in the next, when is
June 30th.
June 30th is when it's due, but there's also
April
deadlines.
27th.
Yeah.
April 27th.
The end of April, there are deadlines for the House to have their portion of that in, and so we're watching that closely. Right now, there's some information in there about the dyslexia bill that has some people concerned because of dates that they're requiring people to be finished with their training. That is not realistic, and so we're working on some language there to be changed. There's also some things with the dyslexia bill where there needs to be an assessment done by a certain date in time, even though it may be free, quote, free to the district. And when we say free to the district, that takes up time and people and resources, and we've talked about the concerns with that. So just know, like, those are things we're watching closely to make sure that the language doesn't have a negative impact on us locally. And then Senator Wilson also, if you remember, he had Senate Bill 1 back in the day that moved forward on financial literacy in schools today, and we already had that program in place. Senate Bill 17 is also part of his bill that would also require a portion of that curriculum to cover the understanding of what capital markets are as well. So that is also some information that will impact us eventually at some point.
Maybe he could add bank balance sheets.
I could add that
literacy requirement.
Add that to his update as well. There are several other bills that we're watching closely, but those are the ones that had a little bit of activity this week. And next Tuesday, there's more hearings on House Bill 1, so we'll watch this closely. Thanks.
Thank you, Jonathan. I just want to also acknowledge the job you and Sean do and have, the network of voices and policymakers and influencers in Columbus and in our district and adjacent to our district. We hear the progress from you from last meeting to this meeting, and we hear it not just from you, but we hear it from our representatives and our local elected officials who commend you and appreciate the approach that Mason takes in particular when we see these bills come down and we know the impact they're going to have locally. The collaborative approach that you guys take and the trust that you build in relationships and helps foster a good dialogue, a productive and healthy dialogue, so that when things really do hit our radar and we know we need to act, we don't necessarily get drowned out in the noise of other groups or other districts who might be this is more of a just kind of a regular drumbeat. Sometimes our interests align, but sometimes they don't. And I think it's a good and healthy thing and beneficial to us as a district that we maintain that independence and clarity in our voice, so that when we speak, we know that they're going to listen. So kudos to you guys, and appreciative of the work that you've done and the reception that we've gotten so far from our elected officials.
And I will, if I could add, just the process, which is great, the relationships we are very fortunate to have. The other piece that maybe people that are watching may not realize what happens is when a bill hits, take the dyslexia bill or any of those, we're blessed to have a team of people. I can go back to my team and say, hey, what do you know about this? What should I know about this? quick summaries, quick feedback. I'm able to take that quickly back. With work sessions, we're able to quickly take that to the board, get your feedback, and just get a reframing of what that would look like and how we word that. So there's a lot more to the process. By the time it gets to the table with Sean and I and our legislators, we have been coached up, feedbacked up, and we are ready and tooled for that. So I appreciate all of your support in that process too.
Awesome. Thanks. All right, item number 12, administrator commentary.
We did highlight the high school musical that's coming up. Wanted to put on your radar this weekend is the Mason Middle School musical, which is Shrek the Musical Junior. Will be fantastic. So definitely mark your calendars for that. And then wanted to just acknowledge Nicole Fairman too and say what a grateful colleague I've been to get to share space with her, pick her brain. There is when I think about how she started out in our district and I think almost 20 years. She and I are about the same. So I think she's about 17 years in Mason, working with students with profound autism. What she brings is a level of system that she saw that. She developed systems. There are classrooms and sensory rooms all throughout our district that have the legacy of Nicole Fairman's thoughtfulness around snoozling machines and environments and thinking about some of those things that we will continue to have for a long, long time. Jonathan knew immediately that he had a great partner in thinking about behavior and mental wellness and prevention. And I know she knows we have she's built a team, and so the work is in good hands. But man, I'm just grateful that I've been able to learn alongside her, and I can't wait to see the impact she's going to continue to have because I have no doubt it's going to be great.
Thanks, Tracy.
Why do I always go after Tracy?
There's the reason. We could shake it up if you want.
No, actually, she can stay in that seat. I wanted to echo what Jonathan and Tracy shared about Nicole and just how grateful I am for all that she's done to harness resources, to amplify resources for our students, our families, our staff. She really has contributed so much. I'm glad to have a couple more months with her before she leaves. And I think it's also just a testament to our board's willingness and desire to invest in our wellness initiatives, that we have been able to become a model to others and develop people who are ready to run with it, like Nicole, and have that expertise to a place where now I'm excited for what's ahead for her too, and I think we'll continue to benefit from her expertise. But that we develop people who are sought after, which is also a compliment to the investment that you've made as board members. On another note, I did also just want to give a shout out to many teams, our learning experience team, teacher leaders, administrators who designed a great day of learning. Last Friday was our last professional learning day of the school year. We had a really exciting opportunity to give our entire staff who are present on that day, who attend on those days, including our paraprofessionals and administrative assistant staff and our student nutrition staff, a chance to engage and really explore our Portrait of a Learner, or Portrait of a Comet, I should say, work that we've been engaging with over the course of the year. So if they hadn't had a chance to be a part of the design team or participate, they got to really look at the current portrait to explore what could it mean for our learners, how can we make this a reality, and give really great sort of feedback and insights that we'll use to shape the next steps. And grateful we have our LEDs who are experienced in designing great learning experiences for our adults that get to those kind of outcomes. In addition to a lot of other great learning sessions. So, and again, thank you to all of you for supporting a calendar that allows for that type of adult learning time and connection time that is also just really critical to us all continuing to grow and learn and support our students.
Thanks, Amy.
Just wanted to remind all of the folks watching that we have just posted lots of positions this week, from teachers to summer administrative assistant help. So please check out our website. And if you're interested in joining the Mason City Schools team, we would be very excited to have you.
First, I want to echo all of the sentiments regarding Nicole. She'll be greatly missed. I'm sorry, I'm apologizing to myself. She's been an incredible colleague to us, and I'm really excited to see what she does next, and I'm glad that we will still be able to engage with her. So next, I also want to give a huge shout out and big kudos to our Power Tech team. A couple of the items that you approved tonight are related to technology. So I wanted to give you a little bit of the scope to help you understand how important it is. We have 6 people, 1 now moving on to contract, and that excludes myself. So we have 15,200 devices that they support every day. And that doesn't include 3D printers, copiers, or anything like that. But in addition, each team member also has a specialization, which includes PAs, wireless and networking, server administration, phone system, doors, the Google Console, software, curriculum, and department office software, anything that we all use, parent support, copiers and printers, cameras, plotters, 3D printer support, as well as web filtering. And that doesn't include database administration or automation, which I've been doing, as you can hear from that extensive list. And that's for 7 folks. So I just wanted to give you a great appreciation for what you did approve tonight. It's really important to our organization to be able to add an additional database person that will be able to help offset some of those things. And also to help with the retention of allowing Carla for the contract that you approve. Incredible employee, best inventory I've ever had in my 21 years in IT. And she gets Chromebooks back in kids' hands within 2 days. And it's just, she has an incredible work ethic. So I just wanted to thank you all.
Thanks, Christine.
As you know, Jonathan mentioned both the turf infields for the baseball and softball fields were completed last week. And I have to say, I was lucky. I was there when the kids were able to come out and experience that for the first time. And it's probably one of the best Mesa moments I have, because the gratitude that the kids displayed and just how appreciative they were. The girls all run out and slid on the turf and acted like they were making snow angels. They loved it. And the boys, some of the kids, you know, I don't talk too often, but they approached me and thanked me for the work on that. And I have to tell you, it went a long way to see the respect the kids had and the appreciation for those fields. I know they're going to enjoy those. Our teams are outstanding. But I just wanted to pass that along because, man, I was really proud of those kids and the way that they were appreciative. I'd also like to just acknowledge both of their coaches, Kurt Bly and Leanne Muff. They spent a lot of time throughout that process coming out to take a look during construction. I think they were able to see the inside world of that, how tough it is now with the workforce and supply chain, but both of them hung in there. It was done right in the nick of time, but just to see their passion as coaches as to what those playing fields mean for their kids, it really made an impact on me as to what our coaches feel about athletics here in Mason. So it was just a great moment all the way around. Glad they're finished, but it is a great moment all the way around. I just wanted to acknowledge that this evening.
Thanks, Todd. I would imagine those boys and the girls probably too are very appreciative to not have to tend to the fields, pick the rocks, do the things that used to come with being a varsity baseball and softball player. So nobody more relieved than those players, I'm sure.
More time to focus on their skill.
That's right.
Instead of raking the field.
That's right.
I just want to thank all the staff and volunteers that worked hard to put on the Taste of Mason event this year. It was on March 1st, and it was a beautiful night outside that night. I wasn't sure if there would be a lot of people in attendance, just if they might decide to walk the dog or play baseball outside instead, but it was a packed out event, and students did a great job. Thanks to the vendors that came, great food. It was just a really fun night, so thanks for everybody.
Thanks, Sean.
Hopefully tonight you heard like lots of examples of how as a community member you can be involved in our school system. So anywhere from getting a job here, and we have wonderful jobs posted, to being a part of some of the outreach community events we've had. Taste of Mason's fabulous. If you did not make it, put it on your calendar next year. Do we have a date yet? I don't Sorry, I was
Get
off
back
the-
to it. We do have
Put it on your
next Thursday.
calendar. Do not miss it. Make it a priority. It is such a great event. Food's wonderful, and our partners are wonderful. This year we had a great college fair. If you weren't able to make it to our college fair, I think Seth Johnson was probably the point person on that from our high school counseling team. But just thank you for all the colleges that came out to meet with our families and answer a lot of questions. Community IFTAR's coming up, I think Thursday. Does that sound right? Yep. So just lots of opportunities. You heard Impact tonight, which is a group of parents that support, that have students with disabilities or or different abilities, or they're just part of that program to help us to guide that along. They're part of that, so their voices are heard. You heard the Mason Schools Foundation supporting the Difference Day, which is bringing community members into our middle school, which Jay Reuter is correct. Like getting middle school parents to continue to feel connected in a purposeful way has been something we've always worked on. Tanya was a middle school principal for a long time. It's not an easy thing, but to see that tonight is a creative way to do it. And Brittany Burlage, thanks for the work on that. So just great examples. And do we have a date already?
We do. March 6th. Mark your calendar. March 6th,
Mark your calendar
2024.
now. Personal invitation from us today. So thanks so much.
Thanks, Jonathan. All right, item number 13, board commentary. Ian?
First want to say, feel better to our board member who's feeling under the weather, hasn't been here. So, Connie, hope you feel better.
Yeah.
As well as your husband, Jerry. Congratulations to our winter sports. I cannot, off the top of my head, recall all the accolades. We've got all conference performers, all district performers. I'm sure we'll have some all-state performers in our winter sports. So congratulations to those young men and young women. Not an official club, but indoor track.
Yeah.
Placed second in the state, just saying. Excited for the outdoor season. Fingers crossed for some better weather. So good luck to all our spring sports athletes. They're under full swing, and you know, kids taking ACTs and getting ready, and our seniors are probably feeling that senior itch a week before spring break. So be smart, be safe, and then we've got prom coming up here really soon. So it's kind of interesting to see the wind. It's not really a wind down. It's really like a spring to a ramp up to what's next. So excited back in Centos for graduation. So lots of spring things to look forward to. So just excited to travel that journey with all you guys. So that's what I got.
Awesome. Kevin?
Just a couple quick things. One, I think the work on the advocacy with House Bill 1, I think, is a good example of how we like to operate here, and not only like to, but we've been successful at, is not creating noise and action and Facebook posts, but getting right to breaking down the issue right to the core of the matter and getting in front of the people that can help influence it the most. And I watched how you all did that this time, and I think that was well done. So it's we got a long way to June 30th with both the budget and other kinds of tax changes, but appreciate the direction that we've taken here in the last 30 days or so since House Bill 1 became an item. So second thing is just Sean had the opportunity to share with us and begin some of the conversations with us today about the impact inflation is having on our district and will have on our district. I think we all sat here about 20 months ago, realizing that quite a few of the economic tenets that we've been operating under were seemingly going to change. It proved that they did change in mid-2021 when I remember saying, when we started to see the ESSER dollars that they're called, which is the massive flow of dollars that started to flow into school districts, which was just one small microcosm of the broad economic activity that was happening. And I think we said, we can look into this, and this is inflation coming like a freight train. All of it is absolutely avoidable, but we didn't. Again, as adults, collectively, we've gotten in the way of so many things. It's amazing. But we do the best we can with long-term planning, with smart cost management, with everything we can think of to insulate our community from as much of those kind of impacts as we can. Our community, including our staff, so that they can focus on teaching and educating our kids. But at some point, we're going to start to see fissures in that, where the impacts of those inflation realities are going to impact all of us. And so Sean mentioned that we were protected for a while from some of the energy. We're just lucky we had some contracts that were done when the world was a little more sane, and now those are coming due, and we're going to have to face the insanity with those. So more to come on that. We'll handle that in the same way we handle our advocacy. We're not going to scream from the mountaintops and make it a big deal, but we do need to hit some markers to say that we are not able to solve every external problem that comes our way, and this is going to be one that we're going to have a very difficult time addressing. Last thing on Nicole, I had the opportunity, unfortunately, to be a part of a close friend tragedy that occurred that had kids in our school, and I saw Nicole in action. It was kind of the first time it really clicked for me how important her skills are and herself have been to the school district. And I know she's done a lot to invest in others, and and I think as Tracy said, that legacy will continue. But certainly wish her well in her next steps. That's it.
Thanks, Kevin. Desiree?
Yes, just to echo the legacy that Nicole's left on our district, but also the work's not done, and we will not let the mental health and wellness piece die when Nicole leaves. That is still a priority for our district, and what she left us is wonderful tools and foundations to just keep building and being better and the best. We have so many supports under our roof that a lot of districts aren't fortunate enough to have, and that piece is so important, especially since the COVID nightmare we've lived and the aftermath effects that we're still seeing and feeling and discovering from that period of time. So I know that is held in high regard and will continue to be held in high regard as far as our board is concerned. And then secondly, Mary and Sarah, what a wonderful presentation. Just such an important part of our community here. So that was very touching to me, as well as Jay and the connections that the middle schools are making with, seeing outside of themselves and appreciating those who have helped them. I know that's a rough time in your childhood too. Middle school is not an easy time. So it was a great night. Thank you for the superintendent's presentations and just everything you do, everything all of you do. Thank you.
Thanks, Desiree. I want to congratulate, we had a few teams that were competing at a state level competition with the Ohio, or with the First Lego League, and have not heard how they did yet, but got to see a glimpse into some of their work over the past couple weeks, and I'm very excited for them, and always just impressed and inspired by the sort of inherent intrinsic motivation that students and families in our district have to kind of pursue these different challenges, opportunities, competitions, things that build upon, augment the school experience that we provide here. And we know that they are out there doing great things, tackling, complicated problems and answering tough questions in ways that, they bring back to us in the district. And we're always eager and humbled to hear from them. So want to just acknowledge those students. Also want to encourage everybody with the last couple days before spring break. This is a time of year every year where you can kind of see the collective psyche. The tank is, the fuel light is coming on as we're inching towards that, mid-March, first weekend of the tournament, but also more importantly our spring break. So hopefully everybody can make it to the weekend and to the longer week, refresh, recharge, get, if you're traveling somewhere, safe travels and time to reconnect before you come back for the final home stretch and finish strong in the spring semester here. Want to also commend and acknowledge the Right to Read Week celebrations that took place last week, which I am only aware of because my first grader came bounding down the stairs needing a hat to wear for a certain day of the week theme that I learned about that morning. So we found a camping hat and made sure she went off to school with a compass and was appropriately fitted. So kudos to that effort, and appreciate the enthusiasm and the passion that our teachers put into things like that, so that you plant the seeds that nurture a genuine love for reading, but also learning at large. I've got a list on the refrigerator at home of all the things my kid wants to be when she grows up, and it can be hard to kind of find time for astronaut and Chick-fil-A person, but I think that the STEM,
Chick-fil-A on the moon. She
yeah,
gets the first franchise.
she could be franchise first to market out there. So we'll see. But appreciate all of the seeds that our educators are planting every day and cultivating. And again, just especially this time of year, we are now into daylight savings time. The days are getting longer. The sunlight is out a little longer, and the clouds are breaking up a little bit, even though the snow recently would suggest otherwise. So with that, I will also wish our colleague Connie Yingling a good evening, and we are missing you, but know that you will be back with us as soon as you're able. And I have nothing else. So with that, last item on the agenda, motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you, everybody.